Hi, Hrish. Hrish, welcome to Daily Brunch's Zoom conversations. And
Hi Monu, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you? You're looking,
Yeah, I'm
you're
doing
looking
great.
very fine.
I'm just like been out, after almost 6 months, and just chilling at a weekend getaway near Bangalore. So really
Wow,
enjoying it here.
wow. Because now, as an introduction to the Daily Brunch readers, this is Hrish Tota. He's actually India's top digital influencer, among the top. And he's one of the early Twitter verified account number 3 actually in India. He's also got a
Yes, yeah.
Facebook page. He's a travel and tourism expert. He has worked with 200 brands internationally and in India. And of course, live events and campaigns, and of course, the IPL. And it is
Yes,
very nice of you to come to a place outside Bangalore to have a
yes.
meeting with us on the Zoom. So
Yeah,
before
I've
you
been really,
get
yeah.
yeah, just tell us how you took the break just to go there right now.
Yes, so Monu, as we have been under lockdown for so long now, and as slowly things are opening up, and all kind of resorts are taking their safety precautions and all that. So this is a resort near the foothills of Nandi Hills near Bangalore, and it's by a friend. So I trust them for they have been handling retreats and resorts for this in last 4 years,
Okay.
and I've been involved with it for the last 4 years, and it's one of the very beautiful properties out here, and with a great clubhouse, and then there is a lot of activities to do. A swimming pool right now, but right now swimming pool is closed because of
Okay.
the MHA guidelines are still not clear on the swimming pool usage, but otherwise all the other facilities are great, and it's wonderful to be under the under the stars, under the sun for after so long actually. So
Okay.
it's
Because
great
it's
finally.
been a lockdown period for you being a travel and tourism guy. You are normally out and away somewhere in the world, but this lockdown
Yes,
has really locked you down. Anyway, so
yes, absolutely.
coming to the basics of this meet for everybody, I don't think everybody knows Hrish Tota as the man. So we'll start. Where did it all start, Hrish? Let's say you come from your hometown, you come to Bangalore, and
Yes,
you're
okay.
over the 18 years or 20 years, you've
Yes.
achieved this position. So please let us know how did you get into this?
Yeah, Monu. So basically, I'm from Vijayawada in Andhra, which is a very interesting city because it's got a lot of culture around it, and around that area, there's a lot of tourism also is there. So around that, so when I grew up there, and then my dad was in a transferable job, so I grew up in Gujarat, I grew up in Goa, and then finally after my graduation, I made it to Bangalore. So
Okay.
it's like all this travel made me interested in travel and tourism itself, and I used to, like, one of the genesis I would say is like when my parents used to take me to this Nal Sarovar near Ahmedabad, which is a very beautiful spot for a
Okay.
lake and birding and all that. So that's a very beautiful place. And apart from that, whenever any relatives used to come to Ahmedabad, we used to take them to the the historic places around the stepwells of Ahmedabad and all that. So we used
Okay.
to I used like a very enterprising thing there, which is there in Ahmedabad, is this auto rickshaw tourism, which is like basically because in the old city it's so many narrow roads and all that. So they used to take
One sec,
they
the auto
even
rickshaw tourism. That's a very Bangalore iconic vehicle, auto rickshaws.
actually Yeah, but even in the West India, which is like Mumbai and Gujarat also, they are
Yeah.
very iconic. So, the first time I saw an auto rickshaw was in Gujarat in the late 80s, actually. So,
Okay.
um, and, and very enterprising, because what I would say is that, these roads are like very narrow, right? The old city of Ahmedabad and many
Okay.
old cities, they are very
Okay.
narrow. So what they used to do is that they used to take these auto rickshaws, people used to take us around to these places in their auto rickshaw and then show us, and they like doubled up as tourist guides also. So they would tell us, like, this step well is so old, and this was built by this particular king, or this was used by this particular Mughal emperor or something like that. So it
Okay.
was a very interesting. Yeah.
Hmm. And then how did you get into this digital blogging platform? Which is what everybody would like to know. Because in the early days, you're talking about 2001 is when the big dot-com busted and the whole
Yeah.
internet was just opening up. And that's the time when you got into this. So how did that happen?
Yes, absolutely. So, what happened is that fresh out of graduation from Goa, I came to Bangalore, and Bangalore was just known as the IT city at that time. Also, just starting up to be the IT city, and Infosys and Wipro had just set up around that time, and they were getting popular. So when I came to Bangalore and I started having friends, making new friends and all that. So that's when I met people from Yahoo, and these guys are like very they always used to be like using technology earlier. So I
Oh,
also became one of the early adopters of technology, and then
okay.
I thought that, okay, let me adopt some. And they told me about this thing called live journal, which was where the first blog sites came up, and then I was like, okay, let me create an account there.
Okay, that's
And
called a
I
live
created an
journal, the
account.
first of the blogs, the nationwide blog or a
Yes, yeah.
specific Bangalore blog or the nationwide
It's
blog?
the international.
Internet. Okay.
No, it was international actually.
International.
International, and yeah, international. And so this was basically where people from across the world were blogging. I had friends, like, obviously, again, the Yahoo people had friends who were in SFO, and then SFO also. Then I started following them, and they started following me, and we kind of created an entire community of live journal bloggers across India initially. And whenever there were people from across India coming to Bangalore, we used to host live journal meetups for them, and then we used to have like that was the genesis of, I would say, blogger meetups in India. In 2002, actually, almost 18 years
Okay.
away. 18
Okay.
years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
that was like.
and from the live journal, you built the community. Then what was your next move? How did you move ahead?
Yeah, Manu, like I was telling you, like I'm one of the I like to call myself as, a technology evangelist, and somebody who is an early adopter of technology. So as soon as,
Okay.
new kind of social media started coming in, I started basically adopting my content to them. Like, for example, Orkut came up in around 2005.
Correct.
Then Facebook came up, and then MySpace was there for a short while though. Then
Okay.
we had Instagram came in around 2010 and all that. So as in more new, and Twitter of course was in 2008. And then
Okay.
as in more new technology started coming in, and new social media platforms started coming in, I was adopting my content to that, so that I can like, for example, each social media is different, right? Facebook was very different.
Right.
Twitter was more about talking in a, Twitter was more about sending across a message in just 140 characters. So how you should adopt your content, right? And Instagram is all about pictures, all about
Right.
visual media and all. So I was always adopting my content to these things and trying to stay relevant to the people in these platforms, so that I have a different kind of following in Twitter, different kind of following in Instagram, different in Facebook. So
Okay.
that's how I have been trying to keep my content ready, actually.
Okay. So the interesting part is that you were verified as a public figure in Twitter, and you were number
Yes.
3 or 4. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's amazing. I mean, you became number 3 on Twitter and a verified public figure. Could you please tell us about that?
Yes. Sure, Manu. So basically, Twitter, when it started in around 2008, I was one of the earliest to in India. I was number third to sign up for it. And then, I used to be Bangalore being the IT hub and also being the, technology hub. There was a lot of events which used to happen here. The mainly tech conferences or IT conferences or .com conferences,
Okay.
talking about new technology and all that. And I used to attend these conferences and I used to tweet out some of the interesting, facts from these conferences. So people started following me, and people started realizing that this is like somebody we can follow to get the latest updates, right? And uh, they felt that
Okay.
okay. Also, when Guy Kawasaki came to Bangalore, I had organized a meetup for him. When different the founder of Reddit came to Bangalore, I organized a meetup for him. So all these guys, when they came in, then
Okay.
they started recognizing me as the go-to person in Bangalore and a person who can give you the most information in about what's happening in Bangalore and what's happening in the tech scene in India.
Wow. That
Yeah.
that's very nice to know that you were verified because of the trolling and to keep you as a public
Yeah.
figure. That is the moment you become like
Yes.
a public figure for media.
Yeah.
Now, like,
I became like a public figure, and
yeah.
then I was getting, yeah, I was I just wanted to add that I started getting quoted in press and all that also, and
Okay.
about events, about how Twitter is taking up. And one of my one of the like very controversial at that moment, like almost 2011, there was an article in Economic Times which said that Twitter can help you Twitter can help you earn 1 lakh rupees per month. So there was suddenly a
Oh,
lot of limelight on me actually across India. People started realizing, oh my god, 1 lakh
wow.
rupees just by Twitter. That's like,
Okay.
this was even before many social media agencies even started in India, right? So people didn't even know how you can do that. So that's when I created it actually.
Wow. So you're saying that making 1 lakh on Twitter, whatever the people got into that thing, but you can actually make that on Twitter.
Yes, I actually made it at that time. I mean, of course, right now, what has happened is that there are a lot more competition has come up, a lot more social media agencies trying to cut corners and all that,
Okay.
and trying to do that. But then there was a time when I did a Fort Figo drive across India. So where I was traveling with Fort Figo, and I was documenting the entire trip via making videos, making short blogs about it, tweets, Facebook, and all that. I
So
was
this was a
posting
Ford
it
Figo
live.
Drive launch of the vehicle. Along with that, you were backed up by Twitter also because you're putting the feed
Yes, yes,
live.
I was
Okay.
backed up by Twitter. I was backed up by yeah. So that was like that was a like very interesting campaign, and it was like where I actually took a paycheck of around 1 lakh rupees for the entire month, where I traveled on the road.
Wow.
I traveled around 5,000 kilometers. Yeah, in the 30 days we went from entire. We started our trip from Chandigarh and till Chennai, and we went around to many states, and we
Wow.
saw some of the most iconic, iconic structures in India, like the Charminar, the Taj Mahal, the Gol Gumbaj, and all these
Wow.
kind of different places. It was a very, it was one of the first, one of the kind, one of the first of the kinds in India, actually.
Oh, the thing is like, which I followed. I've been a big follower of yours along the years, and I've
Thank you.
noticed that Hrish Tota from Bangalore and the IPL, they're like
Yeah.
buddies in the sense. I know all the media, television. Everybody likes cricket. Everybody likes the idols,
Yes.
the icons, but nobody
Yes.
knows that you have equal or even more presence than the
Right.
media people in all the IPL events, even RCB in Bangalore or the IPL or even the auction, like you were saying.
Yes.
I'm not
Absolutely.
aware. If you could just brief us about how the IPL happened, how do they use you as a digital platform? Very interesting.
Sure, Monu. So basically, what has happened is that, I was very active on Twitter in 2008, and that was the time when IPL just started out, and I used to because I'm passionate about cricket also, and I used to tweet a lot about IPL, and I had suddenly seen that Lalit Modi, who is the founder of IPL, he was there on Twitter, and he used
The
to
the the, the
tweet a
original
lot.
founder of IPL, Mr. Lalit Modi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the original,
right. Okay.
yeah, original founder of IPL, and right. So he was on Twitter basically, and he used to tweet about the matches and all that. And then I went ahead and reached out to him on Twitter. I tweeted to him saying that, I have a group of Twitter influencers in Bangalore, and we are very active, and we
Okay.
would love to meet you. If possible, can we come down to one of the matches and do that. And he was so gracious that he just booked an entire hospitality suite for us, and an entire hospitality box for us at Chinnaswamy
Wow.
Stadium in Bangalore. That's like
Wow.
the one of the iconic stadiums of India. And then having an entire hospitality box for yourself with unlimited food, unlimited drinks, and all the and
Yeah.
there are these waiters just serving on you just as much as you want. Just like you're like a personal guest of Lalit Modi. They were taking care of us, and then he came down and met us. And then when I pitched to him saying that let's do something with where we can use Twitter very effectively and social media very effectively for IPL. And
Okay.
then they said okay. And yeah, I mean, you know him, right? He's a very enterprising character, and he was like
Of course he
immediately,
is. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a guy who made this entire $1 billion franchise of the IPL. And he immediately said that okay, let's take it forward. And then he flew me down to Mumbai for the IPL auctions. And I was there in the IPL auctions. And
So,
you know
one sec. That means after the Modi meet and the understanding of Modi and your influence on Twitter and the new platforms and why he would require you there, you flew to Mumbai for
right.
the IPL auction.
Yes, that's right, Monu.
Could you
Yeah.
please tell us
So I
about that, bro? Yeah.
Sure, sure. That was a wonderful experience because the entire IPL auction at that time is like a very close secret actually, and very closely guarded secret, because nobody knows who the franchises are betting on. Nobody knows how much money they're going to bet on. The best
Correct.
players sometimes don't get enough money. They don't get picked up. Sometimes the very bad players, they get picked up for very high amounts and all that. So
Okay.
it was very confusing. So what basically happened is that I was the only guy who was present, like a media guy who was present in the auctions itself, and a live feed was going to the regular media, the TVs and the Times of India and all those kind of people on the
Sorry,
next.
sorry to interrupt you. Just to ask you, that means you are the guy in the IPL auction. You're sitting there live, and you are
Yes, I was
tweeting. Are
there.
you tweeting, or the other media guys are
Yes, yes,
there,
I was
or
tweeting. No, no, nobody else was there. I was tweeting fastest, so I was tweeting more than 10 to 15 seconds faster than the rest of the even it was
wow?
coming on live TV, because live TV was like a little later. They always live TV
Correct.
always little later to in case of any kind of thing that they want to cut and all that. So they always do it little later. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
I
tweeting,
know.
and within 15 seconds of, I mean, within a couple of seconds of the player being bought by one team, I would immediately be tweeting it. And then I started trending in entire India. And so people started following me and saying that this guy is giving us the updates faster than TV actually, so
Wow,
let's
wow. So,
follow this guy. And then,
so sorry again, because the IPL is very interesting, especially the auction. You are there. You are tweeting every
yeah,
15 seconds, and
yeah.
people outside the whole in the country who are on Twitter get to understand this player is being
Yeah,
bought
not just
for
the
this
country
price.
actually. Not just the country, the entire world actually. All the top
Entire world,
cricketers were
exactly.
following.
Sorry.
Yeah, because the cricketers were curious to know whom they were picked up by, right?
Oh, yeah, correct.
Uh, and I'm sitting next to Shah Rukh Khan. I'm sitting next to Shilpa Shetty, Preeti Zinta, and all these guys are there
Oh,
next to me,
okay.
and
Wow.
they're
Okay.
bidding for the players, and I'm just sitting next to them and just tweeting out, because generally even the cricketers and even the auction, at that time it was so strict that even the team owners weren't allowed to carry a phone inside, because you never
Correct.
know, to be to like there could be betting and all that could happen, so they were not allowed. So but I was the only guy who was allowed officially to tweet. And then this was like a very
Wow.
wonderful experience.
So in a funny way, you're the only guy with a mobile phone, but you're tweeting. You're not taking
Yeah.
pictures or anything. Very interesting.
No, no. I mean, I was taking few pictures, but yeah, I think most often than not, it was like I was more interested in trying to tell what was the issue. And
Happening.
that auction also became very controversial, because that was the first auction where entire Pakistan team was like ignored by IPL. From since then, the entire Pakistani team has been ignored by
Yeah.
IPL. They,
Correct.
because
Yeah.
of a lot of I mean, obviously we have a very cold relationship with Pakistan, but yeah, that was like that was how
Right.
it, that was the
Wow.
auction when it
That's
happened,
very
and everybody was like surprised why Pakistani players were not being picked up. They thought that my content is wrong, but immediately they were seeing it live, saying that
sticking to the IPL itself. From those days when you are gone with Twitter, now it's all the lockdown. IPL has just started.
yeah,
And there is no audience playing in Abu Dhabi and Sharjah in the Middle East. And
right,
it's so you ideally you should have been there. I mean, if everything was normal,
yeah,
it was being played here, you will be there. So give us an
yes,
idea
I
of
mean,
how media like a digital platform will cover the IPL in the coming phase. It's not over yet, right? Just started.
yes, yes. So right now, Monu, what's happening is that obviously because of IPL happening itself this year was a very big thing, and it's I'm finally glad that it is off the off to a good start, and off to a safe start mainly,
Safe
and
start.
the
Yeah.
bio bubbles, yeah, and the bio bubbles have been quite effective as of now, I would say, and except a couple of places where I think the Chennai Super Kings, they had some people who were trying to break it because of some misunderstandings and all that.
Okay.
But other than that, mostly everybody has been safe. But because of the bio bubbles, they are not able to meet fans and all that. Otherwise, generally, you would have seen me in our, interacting with RCB in so many games, IPL parties. We have
Correct.
cook-offs. We have, where we do practice sessions with them and all that. So really missing RCB this time because, otherwise, like, Gale and when Gale was there or Kohli, ABD and all, they recognize us very well. So they know us because we have been part of the team for almost, part of the digital team for almost 10 years now. So they recognize ABD and
Okay.
Kohli. ABD and Kohli recognize us very well, and then they. So what we are trying to do right now, Mono, is that we are trying to do more of virtual interactions with them. So we are trying to do
Okay.
Instagram lives with them. We are trying to do some kind of Zoom meetings also where we
Okay.
can interact with them, and then because they would also love to keep interacting with the fans, and RCB is
Yeah.
doing really good this time, and except one match they have won all the three matches. So it's good to kind of interact with them so that even the fan who is seeing it at home or seeing it in a gathering in Bangalore,
Right.
they feel connected to them. They feel
Correct.
connected to them. So
Correct.
we are trying to do more of virtual interactions. We are even doing, like, we are creating messages and putting it on TV with some brands that we are working with. So
Okay.
we are going to put it on TV also. So I think it's going to be more of digital interaction right now. So but hopefully, yeah, by next year things will be fine and we'll be able to see them, because for that 2 months, right, when IPL happens, like players like AB de Villiers, Kohli and all, they feel like Bangalore is home, right? And they
Yeah.
feel
Yeah. Got it.
feel like they like to hang out with us. So we hang out with them at parties. We hang out with them at
I
shoots,
mean,
and
like any cricket fan, including me, uh,
yeah,
especially from Bangalore, who wouldn't like to hang out with Virat Kohli and De Villiers? So you guys
yes,
have been
yes,
accepted as a digital team by the RCB group itself is a beautiful
yes,
position for
yeah,
the digital media. They kind of
absolutely, yeah.
accepted you guys as part of the team.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And
That's a
yeah,
good one.
unofficially we are doing it, and it's like really been a great success because people recognize us like that. They
Hi.
so,
By the way,
sorry
guys,
about
that's
that.
his son. Yeah. Okay. No problem.
Okay, he's just coming. We'll get him at the end of the call, I
We'll
guess.
get
Yeah.
him at the end. Okay.